Hello, this is Mary with Mango Math, and I'm here with Millie to give a lesson tutorial out of our sports and math kit. Football field. In this game, we are using a football field like a number line. Traditionally, the middle of the football field is the 50-yard line. In our case, we're going to use that as a 0, and we are going to be going into decreasing numbers and increasing numbers based on which direction the ball goes. And that is based off of our spinner. The green, the passing, and the rushing are positive yards, and the students will get a positive number. If they get into the intercept, fumble, sack, or tackle, that's negative yards, and they will get a negative sign before their next roll. So to start off, students will always start on the 25-yard line, and that's a negative 25. Because anything that's on our side of the 0 is negative territory. Anything towards the other team's goal is positive territory. So if we're going to be on our own side, that's negative numbers. Anything on their side is positive numbers. So we started as negative 25. And let's say we spun the spinner and got a passing. So that's going to be a plus in that space on the game board. And then you're going to roll the dice, and let's say I rolled a 21. So I have negative 25 plus positive 21, which gets me a 4, a negative 4. So students will go to that negative 4 yard marker and place their pawn or mark it with their dry erase marker. Next student is going to start on that negative 4, and we have 4 opportunities to try to score a touchdown or a field goal. Remember, a touchdown is worth 6 points. A field goal is worth 3 points. A player can also get what's called a safety, which is 1 point to the other team. So the other team gains a point. And that means that I rolled, let's say I started at the 25, and I rolled a 26, which gets me into my own end zone. If I end up in my own end zone, that's a safety, and the other team gets 1 point. So back to our negative 4 for our second down. We're going to once again spin, and let's say I spun tackle. That's negative yards. I'm going backwards, and I roll the dice, and I get a 3. So I get negative 4, negative 3 gives me a negative 7. So I'm going to end up on the 7th yard line in negative territory, in my own territory. So the next roll, or the next down, I'm starting at that negative 7. I spin my spinner. Let's say this time I got rushing. I'm going to put my positive sign down. And I roll the dice, and let's say I get a 23. So it's negative 7, positive 23 gives me a positive 16. And I'm now going to be on the 16-yard line, and I'm going to mark that down. So now I'm at the positive 16 on the 4th down. So this is where I have a decision to make. I can decide to try to get a touchdown, which I can't possibly get because I'm further out than 30 yards, because there's 10, 20, 30. I'm too far out. I can't roll something with my dice. So my only other option is to punt the ball away. So if I say I'm going to punt the ball away, I automatically get to do positive because I'm kicking it away from myself. I'm going towards their goal. And then I spin the spinner. Let's say I got a positive 19. So that means I have a positive 16 plus positive 19 gives me a positive 35. So I am now on the 35-yard line. And that for me is a positive 35. But that is where the other team is going to start. And if they are going to start on the 35 on their side, it's now going to be a negative 35. So they're starting on the negative 35. And so now they get to try to go across and score in my end zone, into the blue end zone. So you'll be going back and forth with positive and negative numbers, trying to score points in the field goal. Let's go back to the decision on whether or not I kick a field goal. So let's say I'm starting, I am the blue team, it's my 4th down, and I am on the positive 35, and I want to try to score a touchdown. With this option, for me to gain that 6 points, I am going to have to first spin the spinner and determine if I'm going to be gaining yards or losing yards. So let's say I spun the spinner and I got positive yards. I then roll the dice to see if I gain enough number, I get a high enough number that's going to get me into that end zone. If I took a risk and I did a tackle, I'm going to lose 7 yards, and I'm now going to end up on the 28th yard line, and that is where the other team starts. So that is going to be a positive 28 for me, and the other team starts at that negative 28. So I'm taking a chance on trying to get into the end zone to gain that 6 points. If I'm at the 35-yard line, and if I choose to kick a field goal, I try to roll a number that's going to get me into that end zone. And if I do, let's say I rolled a 18, I got a positive 18, that gets me into that end zone, and I get 3 points at that point. I get 3 points. And then the other team is going to start on that negative 25. And they're going to try to score. So it still works similar to a football game where we have downs, but the 4 downs means I have to get into the end zone to score points. So enjoy this game of adding and subtracting positive and negative numbers.